Yo, what's going on? The Boxing Source checking in here and wanted to give an update on one of the videos that I recently posted here in reference to the IBF heavyweight rankings. You did have Filip Hrgovic pretty much call out Luis Ortiz, saying that he was welcome to facing Luis Ortiz in an IBF final eliminator, as Luis Ortiz did defeat Charles Martin last Saturday night over in Hollywood, Florida, with Charles Martin being the formerly ranked #2 contender in the IBF rankings. Well, according to the post made through Dan Rayfield on Twitter, as Kalle Sauerland pretty much mentioned that Luis Ortiz has rejected the IBF final eliminator against Filip Hrgovic. And now the IBF will be moving towards the next rated contender there in the IBF rankings to set a final eliminator in the heavyweight division. Man, and that is Joseph Parker, who did defeat Derek Chisora in a rematch pretty much a few weeks ago there. So he is positioned as the next highest ranked contender in the IBF rankings. So some people may see that as a shock, so to speak, that Luis Ortiz has rejected the final eliminator there in the IBF rankings. But there are others that may feel like Luis Ortiz did have a pretty tough fight there against Charles Martin. He did suffer 2 knockdowns in that particular fight before coming back and winning that particular fight. So maybe, he's trying to see if he could get a more lucrative fight here in the near future. And so that, opens up possibilities of a fight between Luis Ortiz and former unified champion Andy Ruiz Jr., as that was one of the fights that was suggested that could have happened in 2021 before you had the injury to Andy Ruiz where he had to go into surgery. So you might still see Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Luis Ortiz. And for Filip Hrgovic, man, who knows? That could possibly, have him against Joseph Parker, or maybe against another ranked contender there in the IBF rankings, as Joseph Parker is not only highly ranked there in the IBF, but he's also highly ranked in the WBO. And, given his win that he had against Derek Chisora, he's highly ranked in the WBO rankings and could potentially face Joe Joyce in the WBO final eliminator. So that opens up a lot of possibilities there for Joseph Parker here in this particular year of 2022. But for Luis Ortiz, man, a lot of boxing fans may say that, hey, Luis Ortiz, what's going on? You say that, he's the boogeyman and everything like that. Why are you rejecting this particular fight against Filip Hrgovic? But maybe it's just something in the case of money. I know that you may want to see about getting another title shot, but this might be your best route of getting another title shot going up against Filip Hrgovic. But if they say no to Filip Hrgovic, then, maybe a title shot is not what they're necessarily looking for here right off the bat. But that is some big news there in reference to the heavyweight division. Luis Ortiz in his camp there rejecting a fight against Filip Hrgovic in an IBF final eliminator. So it'll be a few more days before we get more news on what happens with the IBF heavyweight rankings there at the top. So you could follow us here to get some insight on that. Be sure to subscribe to the Boxing Source here. We really appreciate it. On that note, folks, I'm out. Peace.